Now I have installed two Proxmox machines, and let me log into the second one, which is 103, the first one being 102. So as you can see, this is the first machine. So I'm going to create a cluster between the Proxmox 1 and Proxmox 2 by using this particular command, pvecm create my cluster. My cluster is the name of the cluster which I am creating. So let me look into the status of it. So it says that number of nodes is 1 in this particular cluster. Let me add the second one to this particular cluster. This is the command, add, and I should provide the IP address of the cluster, which is ending with 102, 162.168.0.102. So it is asking me whether I can connect through authenticated. Yes, I need to provide the password of the root of 102. So it is getting connected, as well as forming a cluster between these two servers. So it has successfully added, it says. Let us look into the status of this particular cluster. Now it will show the number of nodes as 2. So we have two machines which are part of this cluster. So when I run the same in the first machine, there also it shows that there are two systems in this particular cluster. So let us look into the browser. When you refresh it, you will see that there are two machines which are part of this particular cluster. Now using these two machines, now we are going to see as to how I can provision a machine as well as move the machine in its live state from one machine to another one. These are other tabs through which I can get to know more information about the machine. Let me go to the storage view. So under content, I'm going to upload a very small image through which I will start the system. So before I do that, let me create a NFS, because we have known in our theory videos that the storage has to be separated out from the virtual machines so that we can do live migration. So if it is part of it, it will become very difficult for us to move. So I'll quickly create a network file system and install my VM using this network file system, as well as use this for the storage purpose. So now I am updating the first system in which I'm going to create the NFS. So let me now install the NFS. So NFS kernel server is the package which I'll be using. So it will go about installing this particular package in order to create NFS. So there are a couple of configurations which I'm supposed to do. So let me copy the export S file as a backup, and change the contents of export S file for my own needs. So here I have to make a couple of changes. So as is specified over here, I will include the path and specify the IP address for the network in which it is actually present, and provide what kind of permissions or what kind of activities it could be done, which could be done on this particular uh, folder, which is the NFS folder. So rewrite is possible, async is possible, and we are saying that it is insecure, and there is no root squash, no subtree check, and it is not hidden. So once I have put in these details into the export as file, I can uh, run the command export file system -ra as an option, and after exporting I will okay, it looks like there is no folder in, so let me create that folder in the specified path. Now I should be able to run the command export fs. Yes, it was run successfully. Now let me restart the NFS kernel server so that all these changes are taken care. So once you have restarted, you can go back to the browser, and there you can see that this NFS gets reflected in the machine. By default it does not get reflected. I need to add this NFS by providing the details. Let me give an ID to it. The server where this NFS is 102. When you click on it, it will find the which particular folder to export, use as export. So I'll select all the contents. I'll select which nodes will participate or will use this particular NFS folder. So when I click on add, you will see NFS getting reflected for both the machines. Now let me select NFS and upload a image. So I'll make use of real small Linux image. So under images I have DSL image. I will use this and I'll upload it to the system. Click on upload. So using this is a very small image which could be used around 50 MB in order to launch our virtual machines for testing purpose, and this is what I'll be precisely doing in order to create a VM. So which is the node in which I'm going to create the VM is selected over there in node. Then I am giving a name to it. I'll move to the next one where I'll say it is the other OS type under Linux. Then it says where will you want to select the ISO from. Since it is there in NFS1, I'll select it. Next, hard disk will also be part of NFS. I'll reduce the number of GB since I do not have so many. I'll just give it as say 4. Now I'll keep the format as QCOW2. Take it to the next one. So all this I'll keep it as defaults. Memory I'll reduce it to a little more lesser one. Probably I can just keep it as 128 MB, which is sufficient. So it is making use of VMBR0, which is the virtual bridge in my first Proxmox server. All other things I'll just leave it as default. And finally confirm the whole setting and click on finish. So you can see in the bottom in the tasks it has said that VM100 create as started. So it says it is okay. Now I should be able to look through its console. Let me change it to the server view. You can see the machine is there, and let me click on start. So start process has started. Now I can connect to that particular machine using the VNC console. So it says it is not started because there is an error, no accelerator found. Since I am running these machines on VM, that is a virtual box, I should disable the KVM hardware virtualization because I'll be making use of Chemo. So let me click on start now. Now the process has started again, and using the console I can connect to that particular machine, see as to how it is progressing. Now it has loaded this particular ISO image, asking me as to how I want to boot to the machine. Let's say install, so this will go through the process of installation. Now let me check the IP address. So it has got 104 from my router, since it was set up in the bridge one. Let me try pinging it from my local machine using the address 192.168.0.104. So it is pinging, so meaning to say the system is up and running, and it is ready for migration process. So let me close this. So you should note that ping continuously keeps on happening to this particular machine. I have selected the machine now. I would want to migrate. Let me select migrate option. So as I select migrate option, it will ask me a couple of details. Meanwhile, ping is continuously running. So it is asking what is the target node. I'll select bits 2, and online migrate, which is for live migration, I'll say like migrate. So as you can see, migration process has started. Okay, now all the files are being transferred. It says completed. There is only one particular request which is missed out, meaning to say that particular time the VM was down and again it instantly became up. So this is the status of migration. Similarly, you can now migrate it from bits 2 to bits 1 as well.